Hey guys, it's Cal from the Lighting Doctor here. I hope you guys are going to enjoy this consultation series. We're going to give you all kinds of tips and tricks for effectively and properly lighting up your home. This is a free consultation that we do for all our clients. So if you want to get your free consultation, just shoot me an email at cal@lightingdoctor.ca. Send me a few pictures and we'll give you a video presentation of what lights are going to work best with your property, or go and visit us at lightingdoctor.ca or go check out all our videos on YouTube.
Hey, Jason, yeah, really appreciate you reaching out and sending the pictures here. I'll walk you through a couple design ideas first of what I would do with the project, and you kind of let me know what you think a little bit of those ideas, and then we can kind of work on building, a price for installation and everything. We do have the do-it-yourself options as well, and like I said, we do make it out to the island, especially in the shoulder seasons a lot more because your season is a lot longer. I used to live out there. We are set up to work out there, and it really doesn't cost us a whole lot more to go out there because we do just kind of lump all our projects together when we're out there. So anyway, I'll talk about a couple things. First thing I would do is, yeah, like you said, with the address sign, and I like your idea of subtle and not too much light. I know the area that you're talking about, and it is very dark, so the key with this is going to be subtle light. So I'll explain a little bit about that, but I would definitely try and get this address rock lit up. Because it's in the grass here, I would probably just try and use like something like an in-ground light like this, so it doesn't create any maintenance nightmares. It just goes right in the ground and then shines up at that light, but you can just mow over it. So I would do that there. I would try and get 2 accent lights on these 2 pillars of the gate so that this whole front entranceway just kind of pops, and it really features the nice stone pillars that you have on both sides of the gate here, so people can really see that as they're coming in. And then what I would do for the driveway, I'm not a big fan of putting path lights or anything along a driveway like this. Biggest reason is because they just tend to get, ran over or knocked over or anything like that. And I just don't find they give you a ton of light, because most people have headlights on their vehicles anyway, so they don't really need to see that lit up. And if this gate's closed, I mean, this is going to be the area that stands out anyway. But what I would do, and what I would love to see, is I love arbutus trees. I think they're some of the most beautiful trees to light up. I would probably try and do one of 2 things. I would try and get some accent lights, even on the top. So we'd actually probably mount those a little bit up the tree and try and catch some of the branching structures. And then what I would look at is also trying to get, maybe 1 or 2 accent lights that actually shine down on the driveway. So the nice thing about landscape lighting is it is very subtle. And something like this, what it does, it creates what we call like a natural moonlighting effect. So it almost looks like you have a full moon down on your driveway, because depending on how high we can get it, sometimes we can catch some of the branches and stuff too. So it kind of creates like some shadowing down on the driveway. And if you're looking for subtle and the most natural type of light, by far, that's the way to do it. So, you're maybe 2 or 3, maybe 4 of those, and you just directionally angle them to light up this area in the back. And then same thing, using these big trees. That's why I love doing jobs out on the island, because you guys have so many more big beautiful trees to light up. I would do the same thing. I would try and accent this tree from the bottom so it looks like so you can really feature it, but then I would take advantage of the height and the size of this tree to get a light up in here that shines down on this back gate area, as well as maybe even over here, just to light up this whole area. But again, the key is subtlety and natural light. That's the best way to do it. And the other thing we do too is with any of those lights, we throw something in there called a hex baffle. And all hex baffles do, it just helps deflect the glare. So it's like if you have, you talked about the motion sensor lights you have on the driveway. Well, when those things turn on and you're looking at them, it blinds you. The nice thing with these lights, and especially with the hex baffles, is you don't really see the light source. You're really more just seeing the effect that we're going to create on the ground and creating that nice subtle light that you're looking for. And again, you would do that over here, and you would get some nice light down here. And then I would probably look at trying to feature a tree like this and just getting an accent light in here, because it's always important as well to get a good balance of some uplighting and some downlighting. So I think this whole front area, I mean, you're not having to look at anything crazy. You got 1, 2, you know, 3 kind of accent lights in the front for the address and the gates. You've got, I would say, probably maybe 3, no more than 4 down lights from above to help light the driveway area. And then you're looking at maybe 2 accent lights in here, and then again maybe like 2 down lights. So nothing crazy, and some real natural lighting effects that you're getting there. So if we move to the front of the house here, same thing. The key, I think, is definitely subtle. The way I like doing something like this is, I know you talked a little bit about this front pathway area. I get really nervous with putting path lights in a grass area like this. We can do it, and I would leave that up to you. You can space them probably about 8 to 12 feet apart, and usually what we do is just kind of stagger them like this. That gives us the maximum lighting effects, so maybe 4 at most on this pathway. The only thing is that you're going to have to trim and everything around them, and that kind of becomes a bit of a nightmare. So unless you were planning on putting some kind of bed lining or shrubs, or just something along here that you wouldn't have to mow over, I probably wouldn't do the path lighting along the pathway here. And there is some options we can talk about if you want to maybe shine some light across. It's kind of with like a hooded moonlight, they would call it. So it's like a half circle that kind of goes in the ground that just shines it across. You may still have to trim a little bit around it, but you don't have to worry as much about mowing around it. You can get a lot more closer proximity, and they're way easier to maintain around. And you would do the same thing, just stagger them, and all it would do is just kind of wash light across the pathway there. I would definitely get an accent light on this front feature tree, and then what I would do in here is I would create a couple different levels of light, some in the front and some in the back, with a kind of with like a wash light like this. What a wash light is, it's a wider angle, again, subtle, soft light. It has a frosted filter, so it really softens that light, so it's not too much. And I would probably look at trying to get, you know, 1 or 2 of those kind of in the front here, and then I would try and light 1 or 2 of the trees in the back. And depending on how high some of the shrubbery is, sometimes what we'll do is we'll put it on a riser, so that's not just right on the ground and this stuff just ends up growing over it. We basically bring it up maybe 12 to 18 inches off the ground, especially the ones in the back here. You won't see the light looking at it, but it brings it off the ground so that we can light some of these. So maybe 3 to 4 of those wash lights kind of back here. I would probably do the same back here. I would probably try and say light this guy here and try and get a light over here, and then maybe 1 up front. And then this is an area if you wanted to. I don't think you'll have to if we do that wash lighting approach, because you will get some light reflect kind of back on the pathway and stuff. But if you wanted to light this darker area with some path lights, you could throw maybe 2 path lights kind of back here, and it would help light this back area. And then you can keep that theme over here with some path lights. So again, 2 or 3 wash lights up in here. And then as we go along the, I think there's a better picture of the pathway, but I'll talk about this area again. Yeah, I would love to see this lit up with, you know, probably at least 2 accent lights kind of from down below. You could do some downlighting here, but I don't think you necessarily need to. I think it's more make this tree really stand out in the landscape. Keep everything else nice and dark, but just have, you know, 1 feature tree in an area like that. So call it 2 accent lights to properly light that arbutus. And then so I think this is the front of the house, or this is going towards the back. So same thing. I like the idea of just having those wash lights, and if not a wash light, because this is growing too much, and we even look at just one of those in-ground lights like this. Basically any accent light with a wider angle and a frosted filter is going to do the same job. It's just going to depend on how we want to approach that. But I would probably try and kind of light this from below and just make it look like it's, I want it on fire, for example. But we don't need a whole ton of the lights. So something like that. I think I'm just trying to see if this is the front area, and I think we did go around. Yeah, so I think it does go around the front here. So like I said, washing this area here with some wash lights, we're lighting this back area. I would look at some of the larger plants, getting those wash lights on as well. Yeah, again, I don't think you need much here. I think this is your pond area. The pond area here is where I would try and get, if you could get like a wash light or something in here that kind of lights this, or the other option too, which I like, is maybe just a path light on both sides, kind of I think like you have here, because you catch that reflection of the water. So maybe 2 of those. And anything you want to control separately, especially if it's the backyard. So sometimes the front yard or that driveway area, you want to accent it. We would just put them on different transformers. They all run off the same Wi-Fi app, so you can have as much as 3, 4, I think up to 17 transformers if you needed. You probably wouldn't need more than 2 or 3, but you can run them off the same app, but control each one kind of zone independently. So if you don't want the backyard lights on all the time or the pond lights on all the time, you can set them on their own timer. But yeah, just a couple lights here along the patio, maybe 2 path lights and a wash light, and these back cedars, I mean, this would look great if you had just an accent light on both of these. And it's not going to be real bright up top, but it's just going to kind of push that light in there and create this kind of cool little, again, just subtle lighting effect in here. That's going to light this dark area. And then lastly, yeah, just this pathway area here. I mean, this is very simple, and I think if this connects with the front, I would just use some path lights. Because you can have this more in a bed, you won't have to mow around it. Maybe 1, 2, 3, no more than 4 lights around this corner, and depending on how far this goes here, maybe another 2, so 5 to 6 path lights just to help light this walkway, create some nice subtle light. And then if you wanted to over here, just because you have the nice purple flowering tree, you may want to put an accent light here that just kind of helps this back area stand out as you're walking around. So you have the pathway lit, you come around this corner, and boom, you have this beautiful bushes here lit up with the purple flowers. And then the only other thing I'll mention, a couple little things I noticed, is around the back of the property. I mean, again, this is an area where you might want to throw an accent light on a tree like this, and if you have another big feature tree like that, I never like to light everything up. I like to take a couple feature trees like this one, like the cedars, like the arbutus trees, and make those the highlight. You can always add more lights down the road, but I just find you want to focus in on those feature trees first and then move on. And I don't know if I would do much here. Like you said, most of the time people are going to be driving, they're going to have their driveway lights, you have the security motion lights. I think any landscape lighting that you do in here would kind of be wasted. So I probably wouldn't put much in there and just leave it on those areas that I talked about. So let me know what you think about those ideas. I can put a price together based on what I'm thinking for ideas, for installation, for time-wise, and all that kind of stuff. Usually what we do on something like this is we get pretty close to what it's going to look like, and then when we get on site, if we need to finalize some things and add some lights or take off some lights, that's something we can work with you on site. But at least you'll have a good base of what something like this might look like doing. And we can kind of go from there. So thanks again, and any other questions, just let me know. Thanks, Jason.
Hey guys, I really hope you enjoyed that video presentation with some great tips and tools of how to go and properly and effectively light up your landscape. And be sure, if you want your own free consultation video just like that one, send me an email at cal@lightingdoctor.ca with a few pictures of your property, and we'll get back to you with some really cool ideas and ways to go and effectively light your property. And be sure to watch the videos after this one for more tips on how to install landscape lighting, as well as how to light up your landscape the best way possible.